the human met a beautiful genie. His first wish left her speechless. Now, standing on the rocky surface of a distant planet, he felt that same sense of wonder mixed with nervous excitement. This was no ordinary exploration. The planet, named Ardina, had been abandoned for centuries, its history buried beneath layers of dust and ruins. Scientists back on Earth had sent reports of strange energy readings coming from the planet, readings that did not match any known phenomenon. Ethan was determined to find out the truth. He stepped carefully over jagged rocks, his boots crunching against the alien soil. The ruins stretched out before him like the skeleton of a long-forgotten civilization. Massive pillars, carved with alien symbols, reached into the sky, some broken, some leaning, yet all maintaining a strange beauty that spoke of artistry and precision. The air smelled faintly metallic, and a soft hum resonated from the ground beneath him. Every instinct in Ethan told him that he was not alone, even though he could see no living creature. He carried a small scanning device, designed to detect energy patterns, and watched as its readings spiked with every step he took deeper into the ruins. There, in the center of what appeared to be a temple, he noticed a device unlike anything he had seen before. It hovered silently in the air, a perfect sphere of translucent material that glowed with a soft golden light. Symbols rotated slowly across its surface, patterns that seemed to shift when he tried to focus on them. Ethan approached cautiously. His mind raced with possibilities. Was this a remnant of an advanced alien technology, or perhaps a containment device for something far more powerful? He stretched out a hand to touch it, and the sphere reacted immediately. The symbols flashed, forming lines of light that coiled around his fingers like liquid fire. A sudden pulse of energy shot through him, not painful but electrifying, and the world around him seemed to shimmer and warp. Then, as if stepping out from the very light itself, a figure appeared. She hovered a few feet above the ground, glowing faintly, her long hair floating as if underwater. Her skin had the soft, natural beauty of someone not entirely human, with a subtle shimmer that reflected the golden light of the device. Her eyes were wide, expressive, and filled with intelligence and curiosity. Ethan stumbled backward, his heart racing. What are you?" he managed to ask. The figure raised a hand almost as if to calm him. I am Lyra," she said softly, her voice melodic, each word carefully chosen. "You have freed me." Ethan blinked. Freed you from what?" Lyra hesitated. Her gaze drifted toward the sphere, now glowing more brightly than before. "I have been bound for centuries, trapped by this device. Whoever activates it gains the right to 3 wishes. I can grant them, but I cannot act freely beyond their command." Ethan's mind reeled. This was not just an advanced alien AI. She was alive and powerful. 3 wishes, you mean like in the stories?" he asked, half in disbelief. Lyra nodded. "But these are not stories, they are real. And every wish carries consequences." She looked at him carefully as if weighing his character. "You must choose wisely." Ethan swallowed hard. He had read about genies, legends told across countless human cultures, but he had never imagined meeting one. And certainly not one that looked like her. Her presence was calming, yet her power was undeniable. For a long moment he simply stared at her, unsure what to say. Questions crowded his mind. Could she manipulate matter? Could she heal? Could she destroy? And what would happen if he made a wish he later regretted? I don't know what to ask," he admitted finally. "People, they usually want wealth or power, right?" Lyra's lips curved into a small, almost amused smile. "Most do, but you are different. I sense it. You are curious, yes, but you are also cautious, and perhaps kind." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. Kindness. He had never thought of himself as extraordinary, just a man fascinated by knowledge. Yet looking at her, he felt an urge to act not for himself, but for something greater, something meaningful. He thought of the barren lands he had passed through on Ardina. The soil was cracked, lifeless, and dusty. A small creature, barely larger than a human hand, scuttled past him, desperate for food, for water, for survival. He had already seen the traces of what once must have been a thriving ecosystem, now reduced to ruins. He realized that what this planet needed was not a wish for gold or comfort, but a chance to thrive again. I wish, he began, to heal this land, to bring life back to Ardina to help it flourish. Lyra's eyes widened. She floated closer, studying him. You do not wish for yourself. Not for power, not for wealth. Ethan shook his head. No, I want to do something that matters, something good. For a moment she was silent, and Ethan could see the conflict in her expression. She had seen countless humans over the centuries, each seeking selfish gain. And now, here was one who wished for life, for balance, for something beyond himself. He did not understand why she looked so affected, but he felt that he had touched something deep within her. Finally, Lyra's voice softened. Very well, your wish will be granted. She extended her hands, palms glowing with energy. The air around them shimmered as golden light spread out from her, touching the cracked ground. Plants sprouted instantly, green shoots bursting through the barren soil. Water flowed where there had been none, forming small streams that glistened in the dim alien sunlight. Flowers of colors he had never seen bloomed, and creatures cautiously emerged from hiding, curious and unafraid. Ethan watched in awe as the once dead land transformed before his eyes. The energy was mesmerizing, beautiful, and almost overwhelming. He felt a deep sense of satisfaction, not just because he had made a wish, but because he had made a difference. Lyra hovered silently beside him, her expression unreadable. She had expected wishes of selfish gain, yet here was a human who had chosen the well-being of an entire world. You are unlike any human I have met, she said finally. Her voice was soft, almost reverent. Most would never think of others before themselves. Ethan smiled faintly, feeling a mix of pride and humility. I just wanted to do something right, to help. The planet seemed to respond to their presence. Birds with iridescent feathers circled in the sky, and strange alien flowers opened, releasing soft, luminous spores. The ruins no longer felt abandoned but alive, connected in some unseen way to the energy Lyra had channeled. You have awakened something old, Lyra said, her voice thoughtful. This planet, it has been waiting for centuries for someone like you. Ethan's mind raced. Waiting. For someone like me? What do you mean? Lyra looked at him, her eyes deep and knowing. The beings who created me, they left devices like mine across the galaxy, each guarding a part of their world. Only a human with a heart guided by selflessness could awaken them. Perhaps humanity is meant for more than I believed. Ethan felt a strange surge of pride, not for himself exactly, but for humanity. He had always believed humans could achieve great things, but to hear it from a being like Lyra, it felt extraordinary. For the first time, Lyra's expression softened completely. She hovered lower, closer to him, and Ethan could see the faint shimmer of energy beneath her skin. Your first wish has left me speechless, she admitted. Ethan laughed nervously. I didn't expect that. I didn't even know it was possible to leave a genie speechless. Lyra's smile was faint but genuine. There is much about humans I have misunderstood. Perhaps I was wrong to doubt you. The moment was interrupted by a distant rumble, the sound of shifting rocks and ancient mechanisms. Ethan turned toward it, scanning the horizon. What's that? Lyra's eyes narrowed. The ruins are reacting. The energy you released, it has awakened other systems. Some are benign, but others may not be so forgiving. Ethan's pulse quickened. You mean danger, she nodded. Always, power, even when used for good, can draw attention, and not all attention is friendly. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling both excitement and fear. This was far beyond anything he had expected when he had stepped onto Ardina. He had found a genie, transformed a dying world, and now faced unknown consequences. Yet a thrill ran through him, the thrill of discovery, of challenge, and of being part of something larger than himself. Lyra's gaze softened again. Your journey has only begun, Ethan. The first wish is always the most revealing. It shows the nature of the wisher. And you have shown that humanity can be noble, capable of selflessness and courage. Ethan smiled, feeling a strange sense of connection with her. I want to learn. About you, about this planet, about what's out there. I want to do more. Lyra's expression held a mixture of curiosity and amusement. Then you will have the chance. But remember, every choice has its consequences. The universe does not give without asking in return. Ethan nodded, determined. He had faced danger before, but nothing like this. Yet looking at the lush, vibrant world around him, and at the being who had once been trapped and now floated beside him, he knew that whatever came next, he would face it with courage and curiosity. The hum of energy from the ruins grew louder, signaling that the planet had truly awakened. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of adventure. This was only the beginning. And as he stood there staring at the horizon, he realized something profound. Humanity, in all its flaws and strengths, had the power to shape the universe, not through domination, but through compassion, ingenuity, and courage. Lyra hovered beside him, her eyes reflecting the light of the rejuvenated world. For the first time in centuries, she felt hope, not just for herself, but for the human who had freed her, and for the species he represented. And so, on the distant planet of Ardina, a human and a beautiful genie stood together, ready to face the unknown. The first wish had been made, and the consequences, both wondrous and dangerous, were already beginning to unfold. The transformation of Ardina was breathtaking. Ethan walked slowly through the newly awakened land, unable to take his eyes off the beauty around him. What had been barren and cracked soil a few hours ago was now alive with movement and color. Strange, towering plants swayed gently even though there was no wind, and alien birds with feathers that shimmered like precious stones sang in the trees. Small creatures, cautious at first, began to emerge from hidden burrows and underbrush, curious but unafraid. Streams of clear water reflected the alien sunlight, and flowers of strange shapes and colors opened in delicate patterns, releasing soft, luminous spores that floated like tiny stars in the air. Lyra floated beside him, her eyes observing everything with a mixture of pride and wonder. "You have done something remarkable," she said softly. "Few humans could even imagine this, let alone accomplish it." Ethan shook his head. "I didn't do it alone. You made it happen." Lyra tilted her head. "I channeled your wish, yes, but the nature of the wish, it reveals much about the one who makes it. You wished not for yourself, but for life. That is rare, Ethan. That is human, but also beyond human. It surprises me." Ethan smiled, though unease lingered in his mind. "I just wanted to help, that's all. I didn't think about being remarkable." Lyra's expression softened. "Remarkable is often the byproduct of selflessness." She paused and glanced toward the horizon. "There is something you must understand. When such energy is released, it resonates across the planet and beyond. There will be consequences, both good and less predictable." Before Ethan could ask what she meant, the ground trembled beneath them. At first it was subtle, a vibration through the soles of his boots. Then a louder rumble echoed across the land, shaking the newly grown trees and sending a flock of alien birds into frantic flight. "What now?" Ethan asked, stepping carefully. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Not all the systems here are dormant. Some are protective, some are dangerous. You have awakened more than just the land." Ethan glanced at the glowing streams of energy in the air, the subtle hum that now filled the environment. "Protective systems, dangerous systems." "You mean traps?" "Not traps as you understand them," Lyra said. "More like guardians, energy constructs designed to maintain balance, and some of them may see humans as a threat." A shadow moved across the far ridge, large and fast. Ethan squinted and saw figures approaching, alien creatures, tall and armored, moving with purpose and coordination. Their eyes glowed faintly, and their weapons looked like a strange hybrid of technology and energy. "They are hostile," Lyra said, her tone calm but firm. "They have detected the release of energy. Some will see this as interference, and they will act." Ethan's heart raced. "Can you stop them?" "I can," Lyra said, "but only if I follow your command. I cannot act against them on my own. You must decide." Ethan took a deep breath. His first wish had been selfless, but now the stakes were real. He could command Lyra to defend them, but doing so might bring attention from even greater dangers. Yet inaction was not an option. The aliens were already closing in. "Defend us," he said finally. "Protect this land and us if necessary, but do not harm unless they attack first." Lyra's expression softened with approval. "Wise," she said, extending her hands. A golden light spread from her palms, forming a barrier around them. The alien figures halted, confused by the shimmering shield. Ethan watched, fascinated and terrified. "You're incredible," he muttered. Lyra's eyes met his. "You are learning. Humans can surprise even those who have seen centuries of history. Courage, ingenuity, and careful thought. It can change outcomes even against overwhelming odds." The aliens hesitated, then shifted tactics. They split into smaller groups, surrounding the area in a cautious circle. Ethan realized that direct confrontation was inevitable. The creatures were intelligent, organized, and armed. But he also realized something else. This was not a battle of brute force alone. Strategy, observation, and quick thinking could make the difference. "Lyra," he said, crouching behind a large rock, "can you show me how to use the environment? To help defend without just blasting them?" Lyra nodded. "Watch and learn, but your mind must adapt quickly. Humans often underestimate the subtle power of clever action." Golden tendrils of energy rose from Lyra's hands, snaking across the ground. Vines formed almost instantly, twisting and growing to block paths, creating barriers that slowed the attackers. Small rocks levitated and formed a protective wall around Ethan. At the same time, she manipulated the energy in the air, creating small gusts and vibrations that disrupted the aliens' coordination. Ethan studied carefully. "I can guide the rocks to block their movement. I can move the vines to trap them without hurting them." "I think I understand." Lyra smiled faintly. "Yes, humans are adaptive. That is what I admire. You are learning faster than I expected." Together, they coordinated. Ethan directed the environment, moving rocks and guiding vines to block the aliens' path. Lyra focused her energy on protecting them and neutralizing immediate threats without causing lasting harm. The aliens, aggressive but cautious, were slowed and confused, unable to predict the coordinated defense. Hours passed. The sun, alien and distant, dipped lower in the sky. The aliens eventually retreated, realizing that attacking further would be too costly. Ethan and Lyra remained standing among the glowing plants and flowing streams, exhausted but victorious. "You handled that well," Lyra said. Her voice held genuine admiration. "Few humans could have done what you did. Most would have panicked or made rash decisions. You thought, observed, and adapted. That is what makes you remarkable." Ethan wiped sweat from his brow and smiled. "I had a good teacher, and I guess I had to think fast." Lyra hovered closer, her presence warm. "There is more to this planet than what you have seen. Your wish has restored life, but it has also awakened elements that were dormant for centuries. Other beings will come, curious, cautious, or hostile. You must be ready." Ethan felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. He had wanted adventure, but he had not expected it to arrive so quickly. Yet, despite the danger, he felt a sense of purpose. This was why he had explored the stars, to discover, to protect, and to challenge himself in ways he had never imagined. As they moved deeper into the rejuvenated landscape, Lyra began to explain more about her origins. I was created by a civilization that existed before recorded time. They experimented with energy beings, consciousness, and the forces of life itself. I am one of their creations, a guardian meant to preserve balance and protect what they valued. But when their civilization fell, I was trapped, waiting for someone who could awaken me responsibly. Ethan listened intently, fascinated. "So, you've been alone all this time." Lyra's expression darkened slightly. "Alone and bound." I watched centuries pass, seeing civilizations rise and fall, waiting for the moment I could be free to act on the world again. And now, here you are. Ethan felt a pang of empathy. I can't imagine what that's like. Being stuck for centuries, unable to act, watching everything change. Lyra nodded. It is a burden, but it has also given me knowledge. Knowledge I can now share if I choose. The two walked in silence for a while, the only sounds the alien creatures in the distance and the gentle rustling of the rejuvenated flora. Ethan's mind raced with questions. Could humans truly understand Lyra's abilities? Could they learn from her without exploiting her power? He felt a responsibility not just to her but to the planet she had helped him restore. As night fell on Ardina, strange lights appeared on the horizon. Ethan squinted, trying to discern their source. "More visitors?" he asked. Lyra's expression was serious. "Perhaps. Some will be curious. Others may wish to challenge or capture me. You must be cautious. The universe is vast and not all who travel it are friendly." Ethan nodded. He realized that the first wish had been only the beginning. Adventure, danger, and discovery awaited. But for the first time in his life, he felt truly alive. He had seen what humanity could do, not through destruction, but through cleverness, courage, and compassion. Lyra turned to him, her eyes reflecting the light of the alien moon. "There is one thing you must remember, Ethan. Power is not measured by the force you can wield, but by the choices you make and the lives you touch. Your first wish showed your strength of character. Do not forget it as we face what comes next." Ethan looked out at the glowing landscape, feeling a mix of awe and determination. "I won't, and I think we can handle whatever comes." Lyra's lips curved into a faint smile. "Perhaps, but remember, not all challenges can be solved by power or intelligence alone. Sometimes patience, empathy, and understanding will matter more than anything else." The wind, or what passed for wind on Ardina, brushed through the newly grown trees, carrying the scent of alien flowers. The night was quiet, but beneath the surface, energy pulsed and shimmered, a reminder that the planet was alive and awake. Ethan sat down on a smooth stone, looking at the stars above. He thought about the first wish, the transformation, and the defense against the hostile creatures. He thought about Lyra, about the bond forming between them, and about what the future might hold. It was uncertain, full of danger and challenge, but also full of promise. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for trusting me, for helping me, for everything." Lyra hovered beside him, her eyes softening. "And I thank you, Ethan, for showing me that humans can be more than I feared, that even in a universe full of uncertainty, there is hope. Your heart is what makes you extraordinary, not your mind, not your strength, but your heart." Ethan smiled faintly, feeling a warmth that had little to do with the alien sun and everything to do with the connection he felt to Lyra. He knew the journey ahead would be difficult, but he also knew that he would face it with courage, ingenuity, and compassion. That was what it meant to be human. That was what it meant to leave a mark on the universe. As the alien night deepened, the land shimmered with life, and the stars sparkled above. Ethan and Lyra remained side by side, ready to face whatever challenges and wonders the galaxy would bring. The first wish had changed more than the planet. It had changed them, and perhaps, in small ways, it had begun to change the universe as well. The sun rose slowly over Ardina, casting soft golden light across the rejuvenated landscape. Ethan woke to the gentle sounds of alien birds and the rustle of glowing plants. The planet felt alive in a way he had never experienced before. Every tree, stream, and creature seemed connected, as if the very soil had memory and purpose. He stretched and took a deep breath, feeling the freshness of the air, and saw Lyra hovering nearby, her eyes reflecting the dawn's light. "Good morning," she said, her voice calm and melodic. "The planet sleeps restlessly, but it welcomes you." Ethan smiled. "Morning, Lyra. I can't believe how alive everything is. It's incredible." "It is," she agreed. "And there is more to see. The energy you released yesterday has awakened many things, some ancient, some forgotten. I believe the ruins contain secrets you are meant to discover." Ethan nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and determination. He had come to Ardina as an explorer, curious about alien civilizations. But now, with Lyra by his side and the planet transformed, he realized the adventure was far greater than he had imagined. They moved deeper into the forest of glowing flora, the trees taller and denser as they went. Strange creatures scuttled past, some curious, some wary, but none aggressive. Lyra guided him carefully, showing him energy streams hidden beneath the soil, invisible to the naked eye. "These streams are the lifeblood of the planet," she explained. "They carry energy, not just to sustain life but to preserve balance. My kind once ensured that these flows remained stable, but when I was trapped, they became dormant and Ardina began to wither." Ethan listened intently. "So my wish restored balance, but there's more work to do," Lyra nodded. "Yes, and that is why you are here. You have shown that humans can act with selflessness, ingenuity, and courage. The energy will respond to your actions just as it did yesterday. But you must learn quickly. The planet is alive but not always predictable." They reached a wide clearing where the ruins of a massive temple stood. It was far older than the small structures Ethan had explored before, with intricate carvings covering every surface. The carvings glowed faintly in the early light, revealing patterns that shifted as they moved closer. "These ruins are ancient," Lyra said. "They hold knowledge of my creators, and perhaps secrets of energy manipulation you have never dreamed of, but they are protected. You must be careful." Ethan felt a thrill. This was the kind of discovery he had always dreamed of, but now the stakes were higher. He could see faint energy barriers shimmering in the air, subtle but real. He realized that these were not just relics, they were alive, responding to the presence of outsiders. Lyra guided him to the entrance of the temple. "Inside, you will find challenges," she warned. "They are not meant to harm you but to test understanding, cleverness, and cooperation. My knowledge can guide you, but you must think for yourself." The moment Ethan stepped through the threshold, he felt a shift in energy. The air seemed denser, vibrating with unseen power. Strange glyphs on the walls lit up, forming patterns that moved like flowing water. Ethan realized he would have to solve puzzles, understand energy flows, and navigate obstacles that challenged both mind and body. Lyra followed silently, observing his reactions. "The first test," she explained, "is not physical, it is understanding. Energy flows in patterns. To proceed, you must manipulate the streams without forcing them, without haste. Watch, learn, and adapt." Ethan focused, studying the faint glowing lines crisscrossing the floor. They pulsed rhythmically, and he sensed a subtle connection between them. Carefully, he moved his hand over the streams, letting the energy respond naturally. Slowly, the streams shifted, forming a path across the room. A heavy stone door at the far end began to rise, granting passage to the next chamber. Lyra nodded with approval. "You are learning. Most would attempt brute force, but you observed and adapted. That is the key." The next chamber was larger, filled with floating platforms and beams of energy that shifted unpredictably. Ethan's instincts screamed at him to leap without thinking, but he remembered Lyra's guidance. He studied the patterns, predicting where the platforms would move and when. With careful timing, he navigated across, feeling a rush of accomplishment as he reached the other side. "You are quick to adapt," Lyra said. "Your species has potential. often underestimated but capable of extraordinary feats. The third chamber held the greatest challenge yet. A series of ancient machines surrounded a central pedestal. Energy arcs leapt from one machine to another, forming a dangerous lattice across the room. Ethan realized that the goal was not to disable the energy, but to redirect it to the pedestal without causing harm. He examined the machines. "If I channel the flow here, then guide it along this path," he muttered. His mind raced, calculating angles, distances, and timing. Lyra's voice offered subtle hints, reminding him to think, not rush. Slowly, carefully, he redirected the energy, arcs bending around obstacles, finally striking the pedestal. A soft hum filled the room as the pedestal glowed with golden light and the energy dispersed safely. Lyra's eyes shone. "Well done, Ethan. You are learning more quickly than I expected. Your intelligence, creativity, and patience, these are the traits that will define humanity's place among the stars." Ethan exhaled, feeling both relief and pride. "I couldn't have done it without your guidance." She smiled faintly. "And yet it is your mind and heart that succeeded. I merely pointed the way. The choices, the understanding, the courage, they are yours." As they moved deeper into the temple, Lyra revealed fragments of her past. "I was created by a civilization that existed long before recorded time. My creators experimented with energy, life, and consciousness. They believed in balance and in the careful use of power. I was one of many guardians, but when their civilization fell, I was left trapped in the device you found. My purpose was delayed for centuries until someone capable arrived." Ethan listened with fascination. "So, your entire existence was waiting for a human," Lyra nodded. "I did not expect it. I believed only beings like my creators could understand the flows, the balance, the responsibilities. But your actions yesterday, your wish, it proved me wrong. Humans are capable of understanding more than I assumed." Ethan felt a sense of pride for his species. "I just wanted to help. I didn't think about proving anything." "Helping is what proves it," Lyra said. "The universe values actions, not intentions alone. You have acted with wisdom, compassion, and courage. That is rare, even among my kind." Their exploration continued, revealing artifacts of incredible power and knowledge. Ethan touched ancient control panels, feeling the energy hum beneath his fingers. Lyra guided him, explaining how energy could be shaped, balanced, and harmonized without disruption. Each discovery was a lesson in patience, understanding, and ingenuity. But the temple also held warnings. Glyphs depicted the rise and fall of civilizations, showing how power misused could bring destruction. Ethan realized that Lyra's abilities were immense, but even she respected boundaries. Her guidance was a reminder that intelligence, courage, and compassion were as vital as raw power. Hours passed, and they reached the deepest chamber of the temple. There, a large crystal hovered above a pedestal, glowing with pulsing energy. Lyra's expression grew serious. "This crystal holds the knowledge of my creators. To access it, one must act with pure intent. It will test your understanding of balance, of life, and of the universe." Ethan approached cautiously. He placed his hands near the crystal, sensing a connection to the energy streams, the planet, and even to Lyra herself. The crystal responded, sending visions through his mind. Flashes of civilizations rising and falling, ecosystems thriving and collapsing, choices made with care or haste. Each vision was vivid, overwhelming, yet somehow understandable. Lyra's voice guided him gently. "See the flows, Ethan. Do not resist. Understand, and you will find the answers you seek." Ethan closed his eyes, letting the visions wash over him. He understood the lessons embedded within. Power must be balanced with wisdom, courage must be tempered with empathy, and ingenuity must serve life, not destruction. Slowly, he reached out with intention, not force, allowing his understanding to merge with the crystal's energy. A soft hum filled the chamber, and the crystal split into fragments of glowing light which floated around him before returning to the pedestal, now still and steady. Lyra's eyes shone with approval. "You have succeeded, Ethan. You have understood not just the energy, but the principles of balance. This knowledge is now yours to carry forward." Ethan felt a deep sense of accomplishment, but he also understood the weight of responsibility. The knowledge he had gained was immense, and the planet's awakening meant more than just beauty. It meant guardianship, vigilance, and wisdom. Lyra hovered beside him, her expression gentle. "Your first wish awakened life, your courage defended it, and your understanding has preserved it. You have shown me, and perhaps the universe, that humans are capable of extraordinary things." Ethan looked around at the glowing chamber, the vibrant energy, and at Lyra, who had been both guide and companion. I want to continue learning, exploring, and helping. Whatever comes next, I want to face it wisely, not recklessly." Lyra nodded. "That is the path of true strength. Intelligence, courage, compassion, and understanding, these will guide you far beyond this planet. But remember, the universe is vast and many challenges await. Some will test your mind, some your heart, and some your very being." Ethan felt both fear and exhilaration. He had faced his first trials, but he knew they were only the beginning. The universe was alive with possibility, and humans, he realized, were capable of more than even he had imagined. As they left the temple, the sun set over Ardina, casting long shadows across the vibrant land. Ethan looked at the sky, thinking of the stars and the worlds beyond, and felt a renewed sense of purpose. With Lyra by his side, he knew he could face whatever came next, not just with power, but with wisdom, ingenuity, and a human heart capable of compassion and courage. The adventure had only just begun, and the first lessons had already proven the truth. Humans could rise to meet the challenges of the cosmos, shaping worlds, inspiring life, and leaving their mark not through dominance, but through intelligence, creativity, and the capacity to care. Ethan stood on the edge of a cliff, watching the sun rise over the vibrant world he had helped revive. Ardina was alive, more alive than he could have imagined. Streams flowed freely, alien creatures moved with ease, and the plants he had seen yesterday now formed a thriving ecosystem that seemed to pulse with energy. He felt a deep sense of pride, but also an awareness of responsibility. The planet was no longer just a barren rock. It was a living, breathing entity that depended on him, Lyra, and the choices they made together. Lyra floated beside him, her hair gently lifted as if by an unseen breeze. "The planet responds to your actions, Ethan. You have brought life back, defended it, and understood it. But there is one thing left to do." Ethan looked at her. "One thing." "I thought we had already done so much." Lyra's eyes were serious, though calm. "Yes, but your final wish remains. The wish that defines not just what you want, but what you are willing to give. The first wish healed, the second defended, and the third can shape not only this planet but the future of many worlds." Ethan swallowed hard. He had thought about this moment since the first wish. He could ask for anything: power, wealth, knowledge beyond comprehension. But the first wish had already shown him that selfish desires would not bring true fulfillment. He thought about Ardina, about the fragile life it now held, about Lyra, who had been trapped for centuries, and about humanity itself. What he wanted, what he truly wished for, was not something for himself. It was something that could make a difference in a way that lasted. "I want you to be free," he said finally, his voice steady. "Free from your binding rules, free from the limitations that have trapped you for centuries." Lyra's eyes widened. "Free? Ethan, no one has ever wished that for me. Freedom is not granted lightly. Many would have used my abilities for gain, for power. And yet you ask only for my independence." Ethan nodded. "You've already given me more than I could have imagined. Knowledge, guidance, even the ability to see life in ways I never understood. You deserve freedom. And I think Humanity deserves what we can learn together, with you free to act and share wisdom willingly, not because you're bound. Lyra's expression softened, her eyes glistening. You truly understand what it means to give without taking. Your heart is extraordinary, Ethan. A golden light began to glow around her. The chains of energy that had once bound her dissolved, scattering into the sky like sparks of sunlight. She hovered freely, her form shimmering, radiant, fully independent for the first time in centuries. Ethan could feel the weight of her freedom and the power it represented. I am free, Lyra whispered, her voice filled with wonder. For the first time I can choose. And yet I choose to stay with you. Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. You don't have to. You can go wherever you want, do whatever you want. I won't hold you back. Lyra smiled softly. I know, but you have shown me that humans can be more than I believed. You have taught me hope, courage, and the strength of a selfless heart. I wish to continue this journey with you, not because I am bound, but because I want to. Together, they looked out over Ardina. The planet stretched endlessly, full of life, full of energy. But even as the beauty surrounded them, Ethan knew their journey was far from over. Other challenges awaited, other beings in the galaxy, curious or cautious, who might see Lyra's freedom as a threat or opportunity. But he felt ready. Lyra's voice broke through his thoughts. There is another element to your final wish, is there not? Ethan nodded. Yes, I want the knowledge you possess to be shared, not just with me but with humanity. Not to dominate, not to exploit, but to understand, to learn, and to grow. Lyra's eyes shone. A rare wish indeed. Knowledge without selfish gain. You understand balance in ways few can. Ethan, your choice will shape not only this planet, but the interaction between your kind and others across the stars. With a subtle gesture, she released energy that spread across Ardina, connecting with the streams, the flora, and the animals. It carried information, not just raw power, but understanding. How ecosystems function, how energy flows, how life sustains itself. Ethan felt it too, a gentle hum in his mind, knowledge entering slowly, clearly in a way he could comprehend. This is incredible, Ethan whispered. I can feel it, I understand it, and it's safe, balanced, everything in harmony. Lyra nodded. Your intention makes the difference. Knowledge given for selfish reasons can corrupt. Knowledge given with care can inspire growth, innovation, and cooperation. You have chosen wisely. Hours passed as they explored the planet, testing the new balance of energy and observing how life responded. Creatures moved confidently, plants swayed with purpose, and the streams of energy pulsed gently, stable yet alive. Ethan realized that Ardina was no longer just a planet he had visited. It was a world he had helped awaken, a world whose fate now intertwined with his own. But the galaxy was vast, and their actions had echoes beyond Ardina. Lyra explained that her freedom and the energy released would draw attention, both curious and hostile. She pointed to faint energy signatures on the horizon, ships from distant civilizations, some observing quietly, others moving with purpose. Ethan's pulse quickened. They might come for you. Perhaps, Lyra said. Some will be curious. Others may test your resolve, but you are ready, and you are not alone. Ethan felt a surge of confidence. He had faced challenges, learned from them, and acted with courage, intelligence, and compassion. Now, with Lyra free and willing, he knew that humans could rise to meet cosmic challenges, not through sheer strength alone, but through ingenuity, empathy, and cooperation. As night fell on Ardina, the stars twinkled above, vast and endless. Ethan and Lyra stood together, silent for a moment, absorbing the beauty of the world they had nurtured. He realized that his journey had begun with curiosity, had grown through understanding, and had now reached a stage of true purpose. Ethan, Lyra said softly, you have left a mark not just on Ardina, but on me. You have shown that humans can be selfless, courageous, and wise. Your species is capable of greatness, greater than even I imagined. Ethan felt a deep sense of humility. I hope so. I want to learn to explore to help wherever I can, but I know there will be challenges. I know there will be dangers." Lyra smiled. "And you will meet them. Together we can explore, understand, and protect, not through domination but through knowledge, courage, and care. That is the true power of humanity." The night deepened, and a gentle wind swept across the land. Ethan thought about the first wish, the second, and now the third. Each had taught him something about life, about responsibility, and about the universe. Each had shown that human ingenuity, courage, and compassion could change worlds, not by force, but by thoughtful action and understanding. Suddenly, a soft glow appeared on the horizon. Ethan squinted, seeing ships approaching, some sleek and fast, others massive and imposing. The first sign of other civilizations had arrived. Some were likely curious, others potentially dangerous, but Ethan felt no fear. He had Lyra by his side, knowledge at his fingertips, and the experience of navigating challenges that tested not just strength, but mind and heart. "We're not alone," he said quietly. "No," Lyra agreed. "But now you are ready to face what comes. You have learned to act wisely, to think creatively, and to care deeply. These traits will serve you far beyond this planet." Ethan felt a thrill of anticipation. The adventure was far from over. The galaxy was vast, full of wonder and danger, but he was no longer just an explorer. He was a guardian, a learner, and a pioneer. With Lyra's freedom restored and knowledge shared wisely, he knew they could face whatever awaited them. Hours passed as the ships moved closer and Ethan prepared for first contact. He thought about the lessons he had learned, the importance of patience, observation, cooperation, and courage. He thought about the first wish, which had healed life, the second which had defended it, and the third which had granted freedom and understanding. Each wish had shown humanity at its best, capable of compassion, intelligence, and bravery. Lyra hovered beside him, her eyes reflecting the stars. "Ethan," she said, "your choices have proven something important, that even in a vast universe, a single human can make a difference. That humanity can rise to meet challenges with creativity, courage, and heart. That is a legacy you carry now." Ethan smiled, feeling the weight and the wonder of it all. "Then let's see what comes next, together." The ship slowed as they approached, scanning Ardina and its inhabitants. Ethan felt a connection to the planet, to Lyra, and to the galaxy beyond. He knew that challenges would come, but he also knew that humans, when guided by courage, empathy, and intelligence, could face anything. The night sky shimmered with possibilities. Ethan and Lyra stood together, ready for the adventures that lay ahead, knowing that the first wish had set in motion a chain of events that would resonate far beyond Ardina. Humanity had proven its strength, not through power but through heart, mind, and the courage to choose wisely. And in that moment, as the alien stars sparkled above and Ardina pulsed with life, Ethan understood something profound. The universe was vast, unpredictable, and full of wonders, but humanity, when guided by the right principles, could rise to meet it, not as conquerors but as creators, guardians, and friends to all life they encountered. Lyra hovered beside him, free at last, yet choosing to stay. Ethan realized that the journey had only just begun. Together, they would explore, learn, and shape the future, not with domination or greed, but with wisdom, courage, and compassion. The galaxy awaited, and humanity, represented by a single thoughtful, courageous human, was ready. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling both awe and determination. Whatever challenges came next, whatever mysteries awaited, he knew they would face them together, with heart, mind, and the courage to act rightly. And that, he realized, was the true meaning of being. The human met a beautiful genie. His first wish left her